Hi, I'm astrologer Penny Dix and welcome to another Astrobite. And today's is for Saturday, the 8th of March, and it's about the sun. And the sun is in Pisces currently, trining Mars in Cancer. So what do we make of these two energies for the day? Because it's actually a good start for the weekend because it's a trine, which is super helpful, and it actually gives a sense of flow. And as a trine is like a beautifully flowing aspect, a beautifully flowing energy. And because it's the sun, it is about our sense of self, our soul, our ego. So we may actually experience people being a little bit more circumspect around us today, whether that is globally or on a personal level. But I certainly think it's going to bring a little bit of calm, and I hope that's not famous last words, because it's balanced. You know, the sun is in Pisces. This is imaginative. This is creative. Whereas Mars in Cancer is kind of really revving up the emotions. It's fueling the emotions with passion and excitement and energy. So we may actually feel that we feel quite creative today, and that creatively we find that outlet for the emotions that we have been perhaps sitting with over the last 2 weeks or so, as we have been observers of the world stage and everything that has been enacted upon it. And so I think the Mars energy in Cancer is urging us towards a kind of nurture and protection, so that the maternal part of us, and it doesn't matter whether you are, what sex you are, we can all nurture. We can all feel as if we can parent and nurture not just another, but ourselves too. So I think whether it's in relationships, friendships, career, it's as if this energy today is making us very passionate about our beliefs and making us very much look at how we can express that passion in a way that is kind of tuning into a higher frequency. Because it's Pisces and we have the sun in Pisces, this really brings in that sense of healing, spirituality, getting in touch with that higher frequency and that raising of our collective human consciousness to view everything as the observer. Because whatever might have been going on in your personal life, whatever might have been going on the planet in the last week or so, we do have to take a step back and take time out at times. And I just feel that this energy gives us this opportunity to be in touch with that creativity. But we've also got to look at the fact that the sun is actually coming up to be conjunct Saturn. Now, this is quite an interesting conjunction that we're going to have, because the sun will move past Saturn. And in fact, Saturn will be on the other side, so to speak, or behind the sun, when we have the Virgo full moon total lunar eclipse on Friday, the 14th of March. And that is a very powerful full moon eclipse that we have coming into play. So we are already going to be feeling as if we're moving away from the energies of that Piscean new moon and in towards the energies of this full moon lunar eclipse. With Saturn as part of this configuration, we need to use Saturn's energy, Saturn's lessons of timing, of patience, of containment, of knowing when it's right to communicate and when to stay quiet, knowing when it's time to take action or not to take action. I'll ask you this because this might be helpful to reflect on. How have you been feeling this week? Today is Saturday, so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. How have you been feeling? I'll tell you a little bit of what's been going on for me because it may resonate with where you've been and may give us an insight into the energies that we've been having to deal with, because I feel we've been in reactive energy due to the events that unfolded last weekend. And thank you to everyone who commented and made observations, and every single view you make is relevant. And I really want to emphasize that because with one of my Astrobites, I have a feeling it was the one on Wednesday, I really made the point of saying we have to stand back and see the bigger picture of everything, because we are being kind of collectively pushed into taking sides. And it is very difficult not to react when we get into these kind of tricky situations of what we observe, whether that's on a personal level or whether it's on a planetary level. So that aside, let's just think about Saturn, because Saturn is going to be conjunct the Sun soon. And I'll be doing a separate Astrobite for that. But there is very much a sense of the need for patience, because I think that with the forthcoming full moon lunar eclipse on Friday the 14th, it's going to be a pivotal moment of change. Now, I have to be very careful, I'm discovering, as an astrologer, to not predict, but to give you my observation of the planetary alignments and energies and what or how they can unfold. Because if I fall into the trap of making rigid predictions, then actually exactly that, I'm falling into a big trap, because the cosmos will have the last laugh and say, oh yes, but it could have gone that way too. And you jumped on that bandwagon. So I say that because I think it's so important for us to always stand back, to look at the bigger picture. And there is something about the Sun trining Mars today that it's Saturday. Let's all take a breather. Let's just cool it. Let's take time out and think of the Sun as it is the life force of our solar system. It's our star. It's our guiding light. We are affected every nanosecond of the day by the presence of the Sun. And I was looking at an article today about, when I was doing some preparation for the full moon eclipse, about how the Sun, reminding me that the Sun is not stationary, that as much as we are orbiting our Sun, our star, the Sun is also orbiting the galactic center. And so you've got this massive star absolutely hurtling through space, but because space is so vast, you have no sense of that movement. Because we are in harmony, linked in energetically and literally by the gravitational pull of the sun in our orbits, whether it's Earth, Mars, Mercury, Venus, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, we are in our orbits of our sun. So the sun is whizzing round. We are whizzing round the star that is our sun. I just bring that in because what I'm trying to encourage human consciousness to do is to lift up, to see the bigger picture. Because if we allow ourselves to fall into the trap of division, of it's this or it's this, we cannot grow. We cannot meld together. We cannot unite. There can be no cohesion. So at some point, we have to say, okay, let me take a step back from this and observe like I'm observing a film, like I'm watching it unfold in front of me. Where might I make clips, changes, edits? That way we can start to have some empathy for the whole of the kind of cosmic conundrum that the energies of the planets present us with. So, as usual, I'm talking in riddles, but it is kind of the nature of the times. There is a sense that the picture that's coming to me at the moment is of a group of children in a schoolyard, and one saying, he said, she said, she said, he said, and how that doesn't get us anywhere. And the teacher comes out with her whistle and she blows it and says, right, you all shake hands and agree to disagree. Now, let's move on to the next lesson. That's what Saturn's saying. Saturn is saying, it's okay, disagree, have your views, have your differences. We are authentic, sovereign, sentient beings. We are actually allowed to have our own opinions. We are also allowed, within all of that, to change our minds and our opinions if the evidence comes to light that leads us in a different direction. So the word for the day is empathy, because I think we really need to have some empathy for everyone, for everything that's happening on the planet, and especially for yourself. Have empathy for you. Understand that you're just doing the best with the knowledge that you have at this particular moment in time. That's all any of us can do. It seriously is. It's all we can do. So good old Marcus Aurelius, I'll get his name right in a minute. Good old Marcus Aurelius said, whenever you are about to find fault with someone, ask yourself the following question. What fault of mine most nearly resembles the one I am about to criticize? This is about good old projection. And of course, we do have to own our projections, our points of view, our beliefs, and we have to constantly re-look at them, re-look at our evidence, challenge ourselves. How often do you challenge your beliefs? How often do you allow your beliefs to be challenged by reading a different news feed, watching a different YouTube channel? You know, Walt Whitman said, I do not ask the wounded person how he feels. I myself become the wounded person. That's true empathy. And that's what I would have to do when I was working full-time as a psychotherapist. I have to somehow be able to put on the cloak of my client and see if I can find the sense and the energy and the empathy of how that person's feeling. So think about this in your own family dynamics, in your friend dynamics, in your business colleague dynamics. If there is one person that is somehow holds the projections of, is attacking, is argumentative, is unkind, try and put their mantle on. Because it'll help you understand a lot better why they feel like they feel and who they are, thus empowering you towards having empathy. That very act of showing empathy is one of the keys needed to set them free. Meryl Streep said, the great gift of human beings is that we have the power of empathy. It's true, but some people seem to misuse this wonderful quality that we have, or maybe just forget about it, or maybe they are so wounded they are just not able to access any strand of empathy. Mohsin Hamid said, empathy is about finding echoes of another person in yourself. And you know you will. We can always find that. Sometimes you have to look at a person and try and imagine what they were like as a child. And why were they wounded? Why would they have behaved the way they behaved? What caused their wounds? We all come in the same way, and then something happens that changes us. So Henry David Thoreau said, could a greater miracle take place than for us to look through each other's eyes for an instant? So true. I've talked to you about this before, but there is a wonderful exercise that I did in a workshop many years ago. And I have talked about it, and some of you may have done this, and I want to find someone that will do it with me, actually, because I'd really love to give it a go again. Basically, you sit with a person, and for 5 minutes, you stare into each other's eyes. And you keep quiet for those 5 minutes. But for 5 minutes, you look deeply into the eyes of that other person. If you don't find empathy for that other within that exercise, then, well, the other person must be severely damaged. But I suspect you would find some empathy. It's an interesting exercise, and I could expound about it in quite a big way, because how often do we make eye contact for the highest good of ourselves and others, to convey a feeling, a meaning? So Ernest Hemingway said, when people talk, listen completely. Because most people never listen. Mary Ann Radmacher said, there is no small act of kindness. Every compassionate act makes large the world. So there is no small act of kindness, because every compassionate act makes large the world. I'm doing well with these words, aren't I? It's a kind of dyslexia, I think. Epictetus, messages on a postcard, or leave me a voicemail with how to pronounce Epictetus. I think he was Greek. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. And I think I'll move on from that to Alfred Adler. I can say that one. Empathy is seeing with the eyes of another, listening with the ears of another, and feeling with the heart of another. And finally, my last quote for today is from Mother Teresa, God bless her. If you judge people, you have no time to love them. And that's hard. And I think that everything that has been unfolding recently, and for some of us it may have also been in our personal lives, it's pushed us right up against the wall. And it has been hard to remain in a place of non-judgment. And I know in some of your comments you've found it hard to not show judgment of my judgment or attempts to not be judgmental, but it comes out. And what I want to say as we finish is we are all human. Let's please not forget that. Everyone, well, all right, we could go down that rabbit hole, but we're not going to. Everyone is human, to the best of my knowledge. We have good, we have bad. We have light, we have dark. We have shadow. And as Jung said, if you don't know your shadow, my God, is it going to come up and bite you in the proverbial bum. Know thyself was written on the oracle at Delphi. Let's try and have a weekend where we don't judge. That'd be cool. And I'm going to try it too. Don't worry. I'm all for following my own advice. I don't always adhere to it, but I do my best. Please remember to like, comment and subscribe. And remember, I'll be doing my live week ahead stream tomorrow, Sunday, the 9th. And what else can I say? Oh, yes. Remember, if you do want to have a session with me, please email me via the website. I don't have a booking system operational. I'm a control freak. I want to be in charge. I want to be able to email back the people myself and decide which time and date for each of us is the most convenient. So you will find that I'm usually available in the next month or so, or couple of months anyway. So there we go. Have a great Saturday. Have a great weekend. And remember, show empathy to everyone, and especially to you. Bye for now.